Hello everyone, I'm Dana, and it's a rainy day here in Oklahoma. Pretty dreary outside, and I wanted to come on here and talk to you about something that might be a little bit taboo by some, but I thought it bears talking about, and that is planner funk. What happens when you fall out of love with a planner, or you order one, a custom or one that's already made, and you buy all the stuff for it, and then you just don't like it? It happens, and it can happen for a lot of reasons. Like, you may start out planning and have a really busy family or a job that you're using your planner for work, or using it to manage a busy family, and then things change. So, for instance, when I started out buying planner covers many years ago, I started out, well, not really started out. I can't remember the size I first bought. I've bought so many over the years, but I was in A5s for a while. I used A5 Maldens A5 Miacaras from Gilio, and Maldens from Filofax. I toted those around for a while, and then I've went through all kinds of sizes. I've been in B6, I've been in personal wide, and pocket, and mini, and A6. I've tried literally about every size there is. But the one I keep going back to is rings. And I had all mostly Miacaras for a while. I did mostly medium XLs from Gilio for a while. I did, in my very early days, I did the Filofax Maldens, and I had all of the sizes in some of those. I mean, every size they offered, I bought the planner in. And I can remember when I went from these 23 millimeter rings to 25 millimeter rings to 30 millimeter rings, and I was like, oh my gosh, 30 millimeter is heaven. But and then I would get to where I wouldn't like a certain planner. I was in Kiki K's and Webster's Pages, just one that I have not ever bought, however, is a Louis Vuitton. Some people love those. They weren't, the colors weren't what I like. I like a lot of variety in color. So that's probably, my daughter really loves a lot of their stuff, but it just wasn't for me, and that's okay. I know in some of my other videos, I've talked about how the only bound book I've been able to stay in was the Sterling ink for on the go and as a health journal. And I've done that for, about 2 years now. Year and a half, faithfully. But guess what? I'm starting to have planner funk when it comes to my bound book. And I've just been down in the pits over, what is it? Why am I not gravitating toward it? Why do I, when I think, okay, I need to update that, am I just like, I have to do that, And I think it goes back to me loving rings. But yet, I can't stuff everything into one planner. It would be a million miles thick. And sometimes I think I can't do multiple planners for my main planner. But then, with that said, I'm also thinking, well, should I go back to a pocket ring for my on-the-go planner, which is what I usually take to the doctor's office to update with the doctor on, like, I have autoimmune diseases, and when I go to the doctor, like diabetes and thyroid and stuff like that, I go over symptoms with them. And so I like the thought of having all of that in the bound book, so through the years, I can go back and be like, oh, this worked for that. I need to go back to doing that. That said, with a bound book, it's there. It's bound. You can't change anything. You can't move the pages around, which is something I seem to need to do. And it is what it is. I don't know if I'm going to force myself to stay in this for the entire year, because that's another thing that bothers me is I hate wasting. When you buy a bound book, that's a cost too. And I hate wasting this that I spent this on. I bought 3 of these last year and didn't wind up using the other 2. For what I got them for, I can still go back and mark out the dates and use them. But I don't know. It's just, that's really aggravating to me. That said, my other thing is, why are we holding on to planners if it's not love? I have a massive planner collection. I use a lot of planners for a lot of different things. I do a lot of research for writing, for genealogy, and I have no problem keeping a lot of planners for that, and I change in and out of them as my mood, the mood suits me for colors, fall, spring, summer, whatever. That's, like I said, that's fine. I have health planners that I research on certain things. For instance, diabetes or whatever. And I have faith planners. I have several of those set up. In fact, the other night, because I love digging into the history of something or researching it. I research all kinds of stuff all the time. And that's just the kind of person I am. If I'm watching a show or something and it tells about a town or a state or a country or whatever, I may be sitting there researching it while I'm watching it. That's just something I like to do. But, lost my train of thought. So I have different planners set up for different things. But there's some planners that when I buy it and I got it, let's just talk about the elephant in the room here. Everyone knows pink is my favorite color. And I absolutely love this pink right here from Vanderspec. And anyone that knows Vanderspec knows it is top tier quality. Have no qualms with Vanderspec. They make some of the most beautiful planners you could ever ask for. And anything you want, that if you can tell them what you're wanting, they can make it for you. However, when I bought this, I thought when I got it, it was fear of missing out. I mean, I already had this in another planner, which I'm about to show you. But I really wanted this bright pink on the outside. And so far, Vanderspec hasn't had a Janet leather in a pink that bright. I'm looking for, whoops. Move that. This, I believe, is in Janet leather, is the brightest pink, this Papora that they've had. And I love it. It's one of my favorite planners. But I really wish they had a Janet leather in this. This is Nubic leather, and in the Myrtle, I think that's the way you say it. I'm not sure. I've heard people say it all different ways. But you know what? Since I got it, it has been sitting in a plastic. It's the bag it comes in, the plastic bag, because I'm afraid to use it. There are so many people buying Nubic leathers that it seems to be extremely popular. I mean, I see people posting them, and I don't see very many people reposting them for sale. So a lot of people must love the Nubic leather. And I have it in several of my planners on the inside. But on the outside of the planner, I really prefer a Janet leather. That's my favorite. Or one of the TM leathers. I have the Croco. Trying to think. I think that's all I have on the outside. But my preference is for a Janet leather. And I have the fear of using one of these and it not, because, Janet leather patinas. So I love this so much that I think I would be upset if it didn't look pristine all the time after I used it. So the other day, I think this is cashmere, Nubuck cashmere on the inside. But the other day, I thought, why are you keeping it? And I'm talking to myself and I'm thinking, because you paid a fortune for it. I customized it how I wanted it, added extras and done the fly leaf, the big back pocket, all the things to make me love the planner. And I do. It's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Done the alternate stitching, it's really pretty. I would love it every time I used it because of the brightness, the colors, all of that is beautiful. The craftsmanship is gorgeous. But if it didn't stay looking pristine, I think it would bother me. Now, I don't know. Please somebody engage with me in the comments. I ask that all the time. And not very many people comment. I wish you would, because no one in my family is into these type of planners. They're all into the digital stuff. So this is my outlet to get on and talk to people about the things that we all share a love for. But if you love Nubuck and you know how to keep it looking pristine, maybe give me a comment. Tell me what you do, or, how you manage that. But my thing is, I have it. This is I think it's the Argilla. I know I have Moose and another one, but I believe this one's the Argilla. And I have the same thing on the inside, and I love it. Love it. This is my February setup for my main planner. And every day I go to this multiple times a day for the stuff I need. I love this planner. Open it up. Brings me joy. So I have no problem using one with it on the inside. But I'm one to sit there and hold my planner. If I'm watching TV or just sitting doing something. And I'm sitting there, holding it and looking at it. So it's, they're going to patina. And I don't mind a patinaed Janet leather. I just don't want to see a Nubuck leather. I don't think it's going to handle patina like these. I don't know. But I've decided to sell this one because why keep it? Why keep those that just don't bring you complete joy? Sell it. This, you can still get this. I think it's on a wait list now. I wish you could get it anytime. But, I've decided to just sell it, and either, if I want to do another one with it on the inside, fine. And maybe they'll come out with a Janet leather with the bright pink. But I just wanted to talk about that with y'all because, if you don't love it, why are we holding on to them? So, that's just my spiel. And that's funny. This one, is the only A6 I have so far. I have ordered a couple in a different brand, just today, but, I haven't done any customs in this, but I love this planner for crazy reasons. I bought it to try it. I bought it to try the Janet Leather Velvet Sand on the inside. It just inserts I had from years and years and years ago that I play around with, but My main planners are in the personal size because you can more easily get the printed inserts for them. I'm not that great at printing inserts, but I may have to learn since I bought 2 more A6. But this year I have been on a mission to try all the sizes and not be upset that, okay, I'm not in pocket right now, so I'm not going to just sell all the pockets. If I'm not using them, I may circle back around to pocket. I may keep a few and play with those. And that's another thing I was going to say. If you get something and you've decided I just don't like it, well, hold on. Really look that over and ask yourself, why do I not like it? Is it like the leather? Or is it a matter of, my suggestion is, if you're thinking of a certain size, before you ever buy that cover, get some inserts. If you're good at printing, print some out in the size you're thinking of and play around with them. And then if you say it's a pocket, if you say, oh yeah, I really like this, go buy a cheap planner in whatever size you're looking at, and then load it up. Is the rings big enough, or can you live with smaller rings before you decide to take a bigger plunge into one of these more expensive brands? Like I said, there's different things in life. I mean, I'm at the point to where there's no way I would carry an A5 planner out of my house anymore, or, a big, heavy, chunky planner. I want a small one if I'm going to go somewhere, but I still chunk one up pretty thick, and I have that problem. I go back and forth. Before I know it, my planner is so thick with inserts. I have to go back, thinning it down, and then I ask myself, well, should I thin it down or separate it into multiple planners? And I'm on a mission right now of working on that. And I will say, someone asked me the other day, said, do you just, I got a pin mark or something on there. Someone asked me the other day if I did flips or mainly just unboxings and stuff. And one of the reasons why I don't really do that many flips is because I seem to never be happy with how it's, not that I'm not happy with my planner. I have inserts that I absolutely love. It's the extra inserts. Well, let me just show you here. Look to one that's not written on. I have these Cocoa Daisy inserts that I absolutely love. They come in with different artwork for every month. And I so look forward to these every month. I am counting down the days until I get my new set so I can see what the artwork's going to be and what planner I can pair with it for that month. I love these inserts. They work so well for me. That said, they only have these in A5 or not pocket. They don't have pocket. I wish they did. They have them A5, personal, and then some of the Happy Planner sizes, I think, other than the bound books. But that works perfect. But it's some of the other inserts that, let me see. Well, for instance, I bought these off of Amazon, and I'm kind of playing around with using them. I've got, let me see. looking. I have notes pages. I'm playing around with some of these different inserts on how I would like them, if I can incorporate them. And these are from Haru Plans. Different ones, different calendar inserts, different meal planning. Trying to look because a lot of these I have stuff written on and I can't show them. I have these doctor visit inserts here. Your passwords, you know, all of those things that are kind of redundant, you know, that if you've seen one video, you've seen a million. But for myself, I never could decide. I would have these type of dividers, you know, different color dividers, pretty dividers, you know, but I never could decide on an order I was happy with. I'm just like, through the month, I'm changing, and I'm thinking, I don't want to do a flip of that. I can't even decide myself where I want it. But I was watching planner videos, and I saw someone using these little repositional sticky tabs, and I started putting them in my planner with some temporary spots, and that has helped me so much. Because I know that it's not permanent. If I don't like it there, I can change it. And it's helping me to be able to flip through there and, you know, do I like it in this spot, or just grouping different things together. So it's still a work in progress. You know, I'm always on the hunt for the perfect extra inserts that might go along with my Cocoa Daisy inserts. But, you know, you learn. And it may not be something I like 3 months from now. I may want a completely different setup, and that is okay. That is completely okay. But, I don't know. I just wanted to, let me look here and see if there's anything else that I had wrote down that, another thing, price ranges. Sometimes we get stuck in, oh, I have to have a Vanderspec, or, you know, I can't afford a Vanderspec or a Gillio or a Filofax. So buy a Kiki K. You know, buy something cheaper. It's still, if you don't get the inserts right on the inside, you will not love any cover you have, because it's the inserts that's got to work. If they don't help you plan your day or whatever you're using it for, if it's just set one up, this one right here, this Filofax, I've just mainly got it set up with sections of different types of notes. And I have the rest of those monthly inserts in here because they wouldn't all fit in here, because I'm trying to I see people that have a whole year's worth of stuff in there, and I'm like, how are they doing that? You know, because I couldn't close my planner if I put everything I wanted in there. But set you up a planner and just play with note paper. I'm trying to get to the front. I've taken these you know, like, Walmart, Dollar Spot, dollar store notepads, and cut them down, and then just use plain line, grid, whatever, playing with it, writing it down, writing my thoughts down. That is the whole point. We're in planners in the first place. It's to get our thoughts on paper, organize our whatever we're going to do that day, that week, that month, that year. That is the whole point of the planner. Or you may just be using it to journal. You may just be using it to doodle. You may want one planner, you may want 100 planners, and that's okay. That is the point. But if it doesn't bring you joy, sell it and move on. Move on to one that you absolutely love. That's okay too. I mean, it's okay to not love a planner that you've bought. I mean, for a long time, I used the Filofax Mountains, and then I kind of fell out of love with them and went to Gilio's, and I still have Gilio's. And then I went to doing custom Vanderspecs, and I'm kind of coming back around to some of the Filofaxes and I'll show that in another video of things I'm loving to do with the Filofaxes. And, you know, everything doesn't have to be in a big chunky monkey 30 millimeter ring planner. So just some thoughts for you to ponder on. You know, it's okay if you have multiple sizes. It's okay if you set one aside for a while and you don't use it. You know, you don't have to sell it just because you want to give it a break. Or you're at a different stage to where you can't carry 3 planners at a time. Or you just want something different for a change, you know. I have sold pocket size planners and bought them back. And sold them and then bought them back. And because I love the portability of the small planner. But then I love, you know, how I can put so much of my thoughts in the bigger planners. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, one of the things I do go back and forth on is not wanting to give up my Cocoa Daisy inserts because they work for me. And why would you? If it's working for you, why would you think of changing it? You know, I see all of the other people that have the more basic, more black and white inserts, and they love them and it works for them. But I love the pop of color every month. It just brightens my day when I open up a page and I see all that artwork, and it just, I don't know, it's kind of like that deal, who wants to go into a dark kitchen in the morning thing, you know, who wants to be in a dark room? I love the artwork. I just love it. I may think differently if I was taking a planner to work and it needed to look more professional. I may do black and white. But just give it a lot of deep thought about what it is you want this planner to do for you. Does it have to be, you know, is it something other people are going to see, you know, if it's on a desk at work? Or are you just a stay-at-home mom and you want something to bring you joy? So, and either is okay. So, anyway, I hope you liked this a little bit different talk today, and I hope it helped. Thank you for watching.